welcome to my channel. My name is Riley, and today I'm going to be showing you my December setup in my little teeny tiny bullet journal. This is my first YouTube video, so please go gentle on me. Before I begin, I did want to just talk briefly about this because I know this is a very small bullet journal compared to what most people have, and typically I'm in a much bigger bullet journal. This is the one I've been using all year from Archer and Olive, but I ran out of space right toward the end. But I wanted to start fresh in 2022 with a new journal, so I decided that I would just use a tiny 40-page journal to get me through November and December. I do actually sell these journals. You can find them on my Etsy. And I have a Patreon, which I started well before the YouTube channel. And if you go on the Patreon, you can actually see a video of me making this journal, as well as my November setup in this journal. But today we're going to look at my December setup. Like I said, it's very basic, and I actually kind of like that. I tend to oscillate back and forth between very basic setups and very more elaborate setups. It's kind of a mix of both. One of the early pages is very scrapbooky. I did have a little bit of fun with foldouts, but also the actual day-to-day usage is very basic, and you'll kind of see what I mean momentarily. So without further ado, let's get started. So we're starting off with the December calendar. So I printed this out after making it on Microsoft OneNote. I basically just took a calendar layout that I found online and I traced over it and then added a ton of color around it just in case I needed extra space. So I lined it up and I glued it in. And then I decided I wanted to decorate. So here I am writing December 21 in a yellow Tombow brush pen. After the fact, I wished that I used a different color, but here we are. So I wanted to do a little bit of a Christmas vibe or a wintry vibe. What you can see here is a sticker that I got from Julia Royal Journals. I follow them on Patreon. They're another YouTuber, and one of their Patreon rewards was these little winter creatures that they made that I printed out on label paper, so it would be like a sticker. I also printed out some just chunks of color because I like to add texture to my spreads. And so I like to print out just a variety of colors on paper so that I can just add a bunch of layers as decoration. I also like to add a lot of washi tape. So here I am playing with some of the layout. The only thing that I wish I did looking back on this is I wish I hadn't so confidently glued everything down, because I realized, as you'll see a little bit later, that I really didn't like some of the layouts that I did, and so I had to do a lot of peeling and resticking. I did want to do kind of the blue and gold since I'd already done the yellow text, so I decided to add some of my gold washi tapes as well as some of my star washi tape. I don't remember where I got these washi tapes from. I think they were from Amazon. And so here I am realizing I didn't like some of the layout, so I am redoing everything. And then I'm cutting around the edges, and as you can see here, I cut too deep. So I was kind of futzing around for a little while trying to figure out how I was going to fix it. This page, which is the one behind the calendar page, I'm going to use as a scrapbook for my birthday, which was on November 26th. So since I'm going to be scrapbooking, I figured I could use some washi tape on the back side just to keep the paper that was cut attached. So this was me just trimming up the edges and adding a little bit of craft paper because I really wanted to do something with craft paper even though I didn't know what. So you won't see it in this flip through, but what I ended up doing is picking a word for the month and putting that on the craft paper. Just a word to keep me kind of focused on something that I would like to dedicate some time and energy to. And the word I chose was community. So on the next page, I am doing my first weekly layout. Now, because this is a 40-page notebook and I want it to last through the end of December before my next art journal comes in, I was very limited in space, so I'm doing a layout that I don't love doing if I have more pages, but is functional right now, where I have a schedule on one side, just the days of the week, and I can write any events I have, and the other side is just a running task list. But I also like to track my habits, and I like to have a reflections area, and I'm making another unique spread that I'll discuss in a moment. So I have been adding extra dotted paper and taping it in and using those as fold outs to, again, give a little bit more texture and also give me more space to write the things I need. So this is my final coursework little page. So I am in the last 3 weeks of my first semester of grad school. And because I don't really have the space to write assignments in this notebook, I decided that I would just make a 3-week calendar, and I would write all of the due dates for the remaining assignments in my final, and my kind of plan for getting my homework done. So that's on one side. And then on the other side, I'm putting my habit tracker. This has been the best tracker I can find, where I kind of put the days of the week, and then I write the habits, and then I X off each day that I do them. And I usually track about 4 habits in a week. I've tried doing monthly trackers, but I always end up forgetting to go back and fill them in. So having it where it's visible is much more helpful for me. And then I'm making the fold out here, so I just tape the page down and cut little slits where the paper ends just so that it can fold okay. And it works out really well. That was my cat Cobalt. I think he comes in again in a minute. He really loves hanging out on the desk with me. So now I'm just giving headers, so schedule and running list. I wanted to have some fun with all the Tombow brush pen colors that I have, and especially because I didn't know what to do for design, I just added a lot of colors here. And so I'm going to go back later. You don't see it here, but I'm just going to write the days of the week, and then I'm going to fill in, obviously, my schedule. So then this is my second week that I'm working on now. Same thing, although the fold out is a bit smaller. So in the previous weekly spread, that is a week that I have therapy. So I like to take notes during my therapy sessions and before them to prepare for things I want to talk about. So I give myself extra space on those weeks to write reflections and notes, like I said. And then on the off weeks, I do still like to have a reflection space, but it is a bit smaller, and I don't use it as much as I necessarily want to, so I, keep it small, because when I've tried to make it bigger and I don't use it, it's just kind of a waste of space. But this little fold out has, again, the habits. I also added a little grocery list, because I usually do groceries every other week, and the reflection space. This is another one of the little critters from Julia Royal Journals. And I didn't love the placement, but it was too late, so that's where it stays. And then I wanted to incorporate some colors from the stickers. So the gray, a light blue, the browns, and a little bit of yellow. You can't see it here, but there's little yellow stars around the little critter. And again, just adding some final design features, creating my days of the week. And I'm just going to do the same thing for the final 2 weeks of the month, although I didn't film them today. Here is the final flip through. So a very simple spread, obviously adding fold outs and getting really colorful adds a bit of time, but the layout itself is pretty basic. Thank you so much for watching. As all of the YouTubers say, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on social media, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.